Okay, we are creating a mobile-friendly design. We are starting on page 265. Recent statistics show that 47% of web users are now accessing information on mobile devices. Now, the interesting thing about that is I've seen as high as 54%, and it may be even higher than that. But anyway, let's continue on. Compared to 52% who are using a desktop computer, we can expect those numbers to continue changing in favor of mobile devices. So it's designing websites that work properly in such devices is a required skill for web design professionals. In this project, what we're going to do is create a simple page and site design that can present all of the client's information in a compact and easy to use navigation structure that works well on mobile devices as well as desktop. In project 7, we will do what's called a bootstrap responsive page, and we'll learn how to create a site that changes based on the size of the device being used. But for today, we will just be working on basically a mobile-friendly design. You are going to need to drag the photography folder out to your desktop away from wherever you have your originating files. Please do that because this could get quite complex compared to some of the other ones, and it's pretty easy to mess up. So you want to make sure that you work on a separate file away from the originals. Now, the very first thing we're going to need to do is to go up to, on the right-hand side, Manage Sites, create a new site, call it Photography. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is click on the Browse for Folder and go to your desktop or wherever you've pulled your new one out and highlight the Photography folder and select it. Save and done, and it should now show up on the right hand side in the files panel where we manage sites. So that's the very first thing that we need to do before we start anything else. Once you have completed that, what we're going to do is we're going to create new. Make sure that what you click on is HTML, and we're going to give the document a name to start with, and it's going to be Julia Stofferson Photography. So the document type is HTML5, and we're going to create. And the very first thing we're going to do is go up to File, Save As. We are going to call it design.html, which is not technically how we set up a first page, but because the book is telling us to do it this way, we will. But ideally, for your very first page, it should always be index.html, but for book's sake, we will call it design.html. And click Save. And make sure you're inside your photography folder. Okay, in the bottom right-hand corner of the document window, you will see that it does say HTML and it gives a size. What you want to do is click the down arrow and select iPhone 7 Plus. And you'll see that what it does is indeed it does give you a size that shows it is much, much smaller than what we have been used to working on. And this is an actual iPhone 7 Plus size. The second thing I want you to do is go up where it says cold split and either live or design. And at this point, let's make sure that you are in live view. So if not, click the down arrow, select a live view. Make sure that you are on the HTML tag at the very top, because what we're going to do is drag down 4 items out of the insert up here. And the very first one that we're going to do is navigation. So hover over them until you find the navigation one. Take and drag it down, and you'll see content for new nav goes here. The second one we are going to do is the header one. So, and you want to drag it below the nav bar. So watch for the green line, and when you see it below, drop it. The third one we are going to do is main, and that's going to go below the header tag. So do that and drop it. And the very last one we're going to go up and grab is the footer tag, or the footer one. So go grab the footer one and drag it below the main. So now what you should have is content for nav, content for header, content for main, and content for footer. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go up and change it to the design pane. So go up and do that. And we're going to go down in the footer tag and highlight where it says content for new footer. And we're going to type in site design by Against the Clock Incorporated. So type that in. And once you have typed that in, hit enter. Oops, no, don't hit enter. Just click out of it if you can. No, I guess it's not. Let's just do a Control S to save our work for the moment. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to go over to the CSS Designer panel. So let's click on CSS Designer panel. And we are going to add our CSS style sheet. So we're going to click the plus and add existing, which is going to open up a dialog box that says add existing. Make sure that in the add as area it says link. Then you can click the browse button. And inside of the photography file, you'll see a file folder called CSS. Open that. And the one that you want to select is the one that says Styles CSS. So select Styles CSS and click OK. And then click OK again. And we have now added our Styles CSS to the new page that we have built. And let's go up and right click on the design and do a save all, which saves both the HTML page and the style sheet. Okay, I'm going to continue on with the next area, which might run us slightly over 15 minutes. I'm not sure, but I want to get the next one in here as well. So we are starting on page 269, and this is define inline navigation links. As you can see in design view, the current file structure is very basic. Despite its simplicity, however, this structure is perfectly suited to the site you are creating in this project, a basic site to present the client's information in a compact, easy to navigate user experience. In this exercise, we are going to add navigation links to the nav element and then define the CSS to allow those links to appear all on the same line, taking up considerably less space than the vertical list. In the HTML design view, let's change the design view to live view. So go back up to the top where it says code split and design and click live view. With the insertion point in the empty nav area, so let's go and do this. What we're going to do is we're going to highlight what is there and type in home, hit enter, type in galleries, hit enter, and type in info, like so. Oh, it's not doing it. Let's try it again. So type in home. Okay, it's working this time. And galleries. And hit enter. And then the third one is info. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to highlight the word home. And over in the properties panel, okay, we're going to, or in the properties panel up here in quick link, we're going to click the href and type in index.html, like so, as the link. And then we're going to highlight galleries, click the link, and type in galleries.html. That's called a quick link, by the way. And then we are going to highlight info and click link. Now, had we had links set up, you could have clicked the browse the file and gone to it, but we're just putting them in quick links. So info.html for our third link. Our next step is we're going to go over to CSS Designer and click the styles in the related file bar to show in the code pane. So let's click on split to where we can see, okay, and we have to click on the styles CSS up here to be able to see all of that. And what we are going to do next is we're going to place the insertion point at the end of the existing code. So I'm going to scroll all the way down. You're going to click in the last line and hit enter. And we are going to start and do some hand coding. And we're going to define these new sectors. So the first one is going to be a nav paragraph. Okay, so type nav p, and then you're going to hit the space bar and do the brackets. And as soon as it does that, you can hit enter, and you'll see that it does indeed give you an opening and closing bracket. And then you're going to type in margin with a colon and a space. And you're going to do 0 pixels to define it. And then you always have to close whatever rule you write with a semicolon. Hit enter. And padding is our next one. And this is the 4 sides of the padding. And it starts with the top. So it's going to be 5 pixel for the top. And then you're going to do a space, and then you'll see that padding right will be 10 pixels and a space. And then the third one is 0 pixels, which is bottom, and a space. And the last one is 10 pixels, which is left. And then we put a semicolon to end the rule. The third one is height. And it's going to be 20 pixels. and a semicolon. Oops, I put a space there that shouldn't be there. And then last but not least, we're going to put a border on the right. So you type border right, a colon, and then we're going to put 1 pixel space. We're going to make it solid. You'll notice that it's giving us hints. Okay, and then a color picker. And we are going to type in A. We can just do it right here. A 30234 and hit enter. Oh, it didn't do it. So anyway, let's go back and do it. A 30234 and hit enter. So A30234 and put a semicolon after that, and then that will complete that rule. Now the second rule that we are going to write is for the nav paragraph hyperlinks, which starts with an A. So we will type in nav paragraph A for the hyperlink, and then start the brackets, curly brackets, and hit enter. And the first rule we are going to write is color and space and the pound, and it's going to be the same color, which is the A 30234, and hit enter. Whoops, excuse me, do the semicolon. And then we're going to also, we do not have decided we do not want lines underneath our hyperlinks, so that's a text declaration. And we are going to put none and a semicolon, and that finishes the rule for the hyperlink. And last but not least, we are going to do a nav paragraph anchor hover. So that is done like this. Type in nav, okay, space for the paragraph, and then A with a colon and hover. And then another, oh no, that's all we need. And then a curly bracket. And then for the hover, what we're going to do is give it a color. And the color that we are going to pick is pound 2C 9C 8B, and then a semicolon, and like so. Now the interesting thing is I'm getting some kind of odd things going on over to the left, but let's do this. Let's do a file and save all, and then I can go over here and go, well, I need to go back to source code first. Okay, for some reason the coding on galleries did not take, so I will do an href for this. and type it in. And then close it. And then be sure to put, if you had the same mistake, put the closing A like so. And it does suggestions, make sure those aren't in there. And like so, and do a Control S to save your work. And now all three of those are working the way that they're supposed to. And let's go back to our style sheet because we have one more property that we want to add to it. So after the nav PA hover, what you're going to do is hit enter again. And this time what we're going to do is we are going to add a new property to the nav PA. So let's go back up to nav PA and under text decoration hit enter, and what we are going to add is a text transform, which text transform will let us make all of those uppercase, and that's what we are going to do. So let's type in text, and it's not showing there, so we'll just have to type it in ourselves. And then you can do this like so and put in a colon, and we're going to type in uppercase. And it's going to give us a suggestion we can just use and put a semicolon at the end and do a Control S to save. And you'll see that they are now all uppercase. Now we're also going to add a new property to the nav P. So let's go back up to nav P and click after the last row that we put in and hit enter. And we're going to type in display this time with a colon and inline block. And you'll see as soon as I type in inline block, indeed that's exactly what it did, is it changed to inline block. Something else I want you to take a look in the book after that, and there's some stuff that you'll want to do too, but let's finish up with number 9. Create a new selector at the end of the code. So what we are going to put at the end of the code is a nav P last of type. So we're going to hit enter again. Oh no, this is a brand new one that we're going to write. So let's go down to, and this is something I have not done before, so this is new. Oops, space between nav and P, and then no space, last of type. So put that in, last of type. Once that's in, do your curly bracket and hit enter. And then we're going to write a rule for border right. And then put in 0 pixels to set it and a semicolon. And this can be used to apply formatting to a very specific element, including certain instances of an element within a specific container. In this case, we're defining the formatting of only the very last of type paragraph element P inside the nav element, and it gives you a whole bunch of them that you can do as well. So once we have done that, we are going to go up to design and do a save all to save our work.